Police Commission meeting. Apologize, we're just running late today, coming out of a closed session, so we'll get started right away. I'll open with a land acknowledgement. The Medicine Hat Police Commission and its police service honor and acknowledge that we are situated on Treaty 7 and Treaty 4 territory of the traditional lands of the Siksika, Kainai, Piikani, Stoney Nakoda, and the Tsuut'ina, as well as the Cree, Sioux, and Saulteaux bands of the Ojibwe peoples. We also acknowledge that we are on the traditional homelands of the Métis Nation. I would now ask that any commission member present to advise the chair if they have any perceived or known conflict of interest, and if so, they will be noted in the minutes. Seeing none, we'll move on to the agenda. The agenda was circulated last week with your pre-meeting package. A motion to accept or amend the agenda as presented.
I'll move that.
Councillor Dumanowski, thank you. Seconder? Commissioner Sir, thank you. Any abstained? Opposed? The agenda is approved as presented. Minutes were also circulated as part of your pre-meeting package. A motion to accept or amend as presented. Commissioner Thorson, thank you. Councillor Hirsch, thank you. Anybody abstained? Opposed? The motion minutes are approved as presented. We'll start with our standing items. 6A, Chief Murphy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Brief budget update for the Commission. As it stands today at year end, we're projecting a positive variance and we'll continue to report as we move throughout the year. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Murphy. AAPG report. Commissioner Johnson, do you have anything to add?
The convention was last week and I was not able to attend. You were there.
Commissioner Chikanua?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I was there. Would you want me to compile a report? And
Yes, would you?
I will.
I should have asked.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. I'll move on to the Office of the Chief. Chief Murphy, you want to introduce your team?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We'll start off with the operational service report with Inspector Jason Graham.
Thank you, Chief. Good evening, Commission members. I'll turn your attention to page 9 of your package, and I'll highlight an event that occurred in our city on April 12th. Patrols responded to a disturbance in the residence of a 2600 block of 21st Avenue Southeast. Upon arrival, officers discovered that the window of the house had been smashed by a suspect. It was determined that the suspect, who was a 54-year-old female, had assaulted her roommate with a knife and threatened him. Patrol members successfully negotiated with this female and took her into custody without further incident. The woman was held for a bail hearing and remanded into custody. She was charged with uttering threats, 2 counts of that, breaching of a court order, assault with a weapon, possession of a weapon dangerous to the public. And I will note that the roommate was unharmed and no physical injuries were sustained as a result of this incident. Additionally, on April 22nd at approximately 5:30 p.m., members of the patrol section responded to a report of a suspicious vehicle in the area of Valley View Drive, Southwest. Interactions with this occupant of the vehicle led to an arrest of one of the persons involved, inside. A search of that person incidental to the arrest located controlled substance, and further to the investigation leading to the arrest of a second occupant. A search of the vehicle then recovered controlled substances, stolen identification cards, firearm ammunition, a modified firearm, and a defaced serial number, along with 3 replica firearms. Resulting in this investigation, 2 adult males from Medicine Hat were charged with multiple drug, firearms, and property-related offenses. Both of these individuals were also held for a judicial interim release hearing and remanded into custody as well. And finally, just wanted to provide Commission a quick update with regards to our downtown strategy this summer. I'm happy to report that I've received I receive regular reports from our members who are engaging with the downtown people. We also have several overtime shifts that are addressing some of the concerns that were brought forth. And largely, I'm receiving positive feedback from members of the public who are commenting that they witness and they see us regularly out there a lot more. And again, that's in response to our strategy with more overtime shifts, the increased downtown patrol unit member. We are seeing trends with people in the downtown area loitering, leaving garbage behind and whatnot. We're certainly not seeing it to the extent that we were last year at this time. And I will note that a bit of a change from this year to last year and the year before is the absence of the shelter on Allowance Avenue, which has created a bit of a concern for us as far as moving people along. This year, unlike other years, they had a place to go, and unfortunately they don't this year at this point. So we are forced to move them along, and it's just a repetitive thing throughout the course of our day. So, but overall, I'm very happy with the way things are going so far this year, and I'd be happy to take any questions from the group.
And I'd just like to add to what Inspector Graham has said about activities in and around the downtown. So anytime our members, whether it be downtown patrol unit or members of our patrol teams, if they see criminal activity taking place, they deal with that, they lay the appropriate charges. So if anybody thinks that's not going on, it absolutely is happening. So there is some accountability happening for those in and around our downtown.
Thank you, Inspector Graham. Thank you, Chief Murphy. Questions? Commissioner Thorson.
Yeah, I was just curious, when you get feedback from businesses about the downtown patrol unit, what's the avenue in which you get that information? Is it formal, informal, anecdotal? How do you get that information?
Thanks, Commissioner. So I get it mostly through the reports that I get from the members who are working the extra shifts. They provide a daily report of their interactions. One of the requirements is for them to stop in at businesses during the course of their shift and check in any concerns and whatnot, and that's where I'm getting the feedback from. I'm also getting the odd phone call from the public as well that are, have questions and whatnot, and during the course of those conversations, it's coming out as well. But the majority of it is through the daily reports that I get from the officers who are providing me the details of their day.
Any follow-up? Commissioner Thorson? Councillor Hirsch?
Just maybe to add to that, to Councilor Thorson, sorry, I almost denigrated you, Commissioner. We also, like as councils, sometimes will get feedback relative to the downtown, and if there's anything like that, we actually forward along to the chief, and then who in terms pass it along. So there's different ways.
Chief Murphy?
The other addition this year, as opposed to previous years, is the members of Downtown Patrol Unit are back on mountain bikes again now. So a lot of positive feedback about that so far, a lot more efficient, and they have really enjoyed it thus far. They've been out there for about a month on those now. So far, so good with that. And I think it's been good for the downtown.
Thank you. Any other questions for operations? Seeing none, we'll move on.
Turn it over to Inspector West for investigation and support services, please.
Thanks, Chief. I thought I'd sort of focus the highlights from what's happening in training. So it's a very busy time for training. So there's some highlights on page 15. The first one is 2 investigators from the criminal investigative section, the family crime unit in particular, went to a workshop in Calgary focusing on investigating abusive head trauma in infants and children. Purpose of the training is to better equip the officers with the specific knowledge. And I use this as an example of some of the more advanced training we have in our specialized units. So obviously the officers in that unit have their forensic interviewing course, their basic interviewing course. But as they advance in these units, we really get into some of the specific training that really turns them into subject matter experts and just increases their competence. And I thought this was a really good example of some very specific training for a specific unit. So we were glad. And it's another good example of how we're often able to leverage our partners in Calgary and Edmonton, who often have great courses, and they're always quick to invite us. So a good opportunity there. Another course, we sent one of our brand-new firearms instructors on a methods of instruction course in Calgary. And this was a little bit different in that we do send our instructors on instruct. So we have a newly minted firearms instructor, and instead of just sending them to the training course to teach them to be an instructor, this course, and it's the first time it's been offered this year by Chris Butler, who is a 30-year member of the Calgary Police Service, subject matter expert. This guy's written use of force, expert opinions, very competent. Put on a training course about, adult learning and really how do you drive these hard skills home to adult learners. So it takes a step beyond, and I really hope we can leverage that for our other, when I say hard skills, I'm specifically speaking to our officer safety unit, the control tactics, firearms, and EBOC. And I really hope we can leverage that course. It was a great experience for our brand new firearms instructor. So that was, again, a great opportunity in Calgary. And just a little bit of an update on recruit training from last month. So they got about 6 weeks of training left, but in April, really heavy month. Several policing topics, including, impaired driving investigations, the Controlled Drugs and Substances Act, sudden death. I know they started heavily into their law course, so they really got into the thick of things in April. And also in April, they had their midterm fitness testing. So throughout that program, they're accountable to their own fitness. So as they're tested throughout the course, there's an expectation they're improving. I guess you could cheat it by starting off slow and working your way up, but there's an expectation that they log their hours of their independent workouts outside of work hours, and that there's a marked improvement. So I think the instructors were fairly happy with that. So those are just some highlights in what's happening in training. Again, sort of March, April, May are probably some of our busiest months for training, both for our in-service, or for our regular members, and obviously for the recruits. And that's it, unless anybody had any questions.
Any questions for Inspector West? Vice Chair King?
Thanks. Thank you, Inspector West. I just had a question on the new recruits, just in regards to time frame of when they would actually be in service on the road, I guess. So graduation date, and then is there a certain time frame that they are with another officer, and then when they're actually on the road?
Yeah, for sure. So they'll graduate at the end of June here. I believe the date's around June 28th, 29th. So right into the end, then they'll begin the FTO process. So during the FTO process, they'll be with, so we've already picked the officers who will take on the responsibility of being a field training officer. They'll have a short course on how to, again, sort of that adult learning aspect. One of them will be there'll be an online portion for the course, and then there'll be a session within the service that we'll put on for them. They'll then begin the FTO process, and it's really a graduated, I think the service has gotten, or policing's got a lot better at this. There's a very thorough recording process that we make sure that all the topics, and there's pages and pages of topics, all the topics are checked off, and not just that they've done that call, that they've done that type of call several times and that they become competent at it. So they have had exposure, they've maybe done it once, and now they're entering that level of competence. And so it can take, the timelines can vary, but generally I think we're at about, 12 weeks? Yeah, 12 weeks or so, so about 9-10 sets of shifts. And we really try and take our time and always say, don't let the clock put the pressure on you. It's really important that we spend the time with the recruits. And if we have a recruit that's a little quicker, they might get out a little quicker. And if they require a little more time, they'll require some more time.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Councillor Dumanowski?
Actually, through the chair, no questions, just a comment, and some of the highlights Inspector West brought up around training and professional development. Highlights for me the importance we put on capacity building, and we've heard in other previous presentations and certainly in my other time around this table, as a police commission member, you know, the investment we make in our members, you know, at first blush, you know, there's certainly cost to this, but I would argue, and certainly not investing in our capacity building and our development of our members has a cost as well. And I liken it to some of the comments we've heard before about they might be a member of patrols, but they're also a member of TAC team, and we're doing some of these specialized pieces of training. There's certainly some necessity for it, but I know we take that seriously. We certainly could seek ways to minimize cost by curtailing this stuff, but I'm all about cost value evaluation when it comes to, you know, the council role or police commission role, but you cannot put a value on the PD that you give to these members and what it does for a service. And when you think of a mid-sized service like ours and all the different specialized units we have and that ongoing training, it's quite remarkable. It really is. And I know it bodes well for us, and certainly our reputation has been strong because of that. So I just wanted to make a general comment about it based on some of the information you brought up today. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Jubanowski. Any other questions or comments for Inspector West? Seeing none, we'll move on with Chief Murphy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a brief update for the commission regarding the thing that was brought forward by Commissioner Keane last month about the stats reporting. So as it stands now, we do the 3 months, but Commissioner Keane asked if we could do a longer term trend, so probably the last 3 years. So we had a version come to us that our analysts put together, and it was just probably a little too busy. That's why we weren't ready for it this month. So we've sent it back just for more of the new version we've asked for, that we've given an example of. It looks like the 3-month version we provide now, but it's over 3 years, so it's a lot cleaner and more user-friendly. So we should have that here for you next month, and then they just automate the process for us, so it gives us out that information. So it's not that someone has to do that every month, it'll just be automatic. So we should have that for you next month, and apologize for the additional delay, but first version was probably too busy for what we were looking to achieve, so the next version looks very clean of what we're trying to do. So we'll have that for you next month. Otherwise, I have nothing further, but happy to answer any questions.
Any questions or comments for Chief Murphy? I keep seeing none. Thank you, Chief. We'll move on to new business. We just have one item of business this month. The Canadian Association of Police Governance Annual Conference is August 14th to 16th. And we have commissioners who are planning to attend. There is a financial implication, and therefore we need a motion on record. Is there a commissioner prepared to make the motion about attendance and an amount? Commissioner Johnson? So the motion is up to 4 commissioners to attend for an amount not to exceed $17,000. Commissioner Johnson, thank you. Seconder. Commissioner Thorson, thank you. Any discussion? Thank you. I'll call for the vote. Any abstained? Opposed? That motion is carried. With that, we would move on to community consultation. There is no one in the gallery today. So the next open commission meeting is on Wednesday, June 18th in council chambers. After that, commission breaks for the summer and will return in September on the 17th, also in council chambers. With that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Commissioner Thorson. Thank you very much.